In this video, I'm going to tell you about how I like to get things done, hobby-wise at least.
Warning, Uncle Adam is not a professional. He's usually not even very good. Try any and all of Uncle Adam's pro tips at your own risk. Void where prohibited. Uncle Adam is not actually an uncle.
I'm going to start this off by apologizing in advance. I am just getting over a cold. I'm recording this on Sunday. If you watched the Every Other Sunday show this morning, you're familiar. But anyway, I'm just glad that it happened, the cold, this week versus next week, which is Adepticon. So a thing that I see in the comments very frequently is motivational issues, people having a hard time getting their models done. And that's something that I try to make videos about. So here's another one. The quick and easy way that I help get things done on the tabletop, as far as whether it's building, whether it's making terrain, whether it is just painting and getting stuff varnished at the end and all that kind of stuff, is I actually schedule the time to do it. I don't just wait for inspiration to hit me. I don't just wait for that lovely, fairy godmother to come in and just tap me with the wand of stick-to-itiveness and make me go down into the basement and actually varnish some models or, glue texture to bases or whatever it is I need to do next. What I actually do is I use this thing. This is a phone, and it's got a picture of a kitty on it. But what it does is it has a calendar in it. It has an alarm in it. It has all kinds of crazy features and stuff. And I use those to my best advantage to make me actually hobby. I check the calendar to make sure I don't have anything to do tonight when I'm, say, still at work or something like that. And then I schedule time. I get home from work around 5:30-ish or so. I know there's going to be dinner involved. So I set an alarm for 7 p.m. telling me, hey, dumbass, go down in the basement and work on that next piece of that thing that you need to get done. I set an alarm to remind me, hey, you remember that alarm you just get? Actually pay attention. And that's the second alarm. That works pretty frequently too, because then that stops me from sitting and watching useless television, which I've probably already seen before. Law and Order reruns, they are the bane, at least in my house, of getting things actually done. There's other features that this phone has also which are super important. Not only is it important to actually get back down into your hobby space and do the work, but it's also important to understand that spending too much time on certain things can also slow everything down. If I can't tell you how many comments I've gotten in the past from people who are like, oh, I've been working on this model for 2 months. No, stop it. You shouldn't be doing that. Unless you are going to try to win one of the big national or international competitions, then you shouldn't be doing that. If you are trying to paint a dude who's going to sit up at the front of your squad of so-and-sos and probably get killed in the first round, then don't be spending so much time. It's just a plain fact of the matter. You need to limit your time, and you have a timer on pretty much every one of these little smartphones. So you can take that timer and say, I'm going to spend an hour tonight, or I'm going to spend an hour and a half, or I'm going to spend an hour and 45 minutes, or you can just be like, hey, whatever disembodied voice in there, set a timer for 2 hours. And then when that timer goes off in 2 hours, then you now know that it's been 2 hours. And so if you've got a plan involved and say, I think everything except for the basing should be done in 2 hours, then you can now make that assessment, look at it and go, oh, I spent way too much time on that sword for reasons, so maybe I should try to speed things up. Having outside forces that tell you, hey, you should be doing this quicker, can really help. One of the easiest ways to finish models quickly is to plan to finish models quickly. When you look at a unit of 5 whatevers that have to go into whatever game, but they're all, let's say, roughly the same outfit, uniform, clothing, whatever you want to call it. So you're going to do them in an assembly line. This is my point. When you're going to go through and paint hats, and then shoes, that kind of thing. Sit down and look at it and go, okay, I think I can get all these guys done in 6 hours. Okay, so you're not going to probably paint 6 hours in a row unless maybe it's a weekend or a day off. So let's say you're going to do 3 hours and then 3 hours. So you set your timer on your phone for 3 hours, paint, and then come back and look and see, do I think I can now finish, say tomorrow or 2 nights from now or whenever, the next 3 hours and be finished? These kind of milestones as you travel along the paint job from point A to point B are really important. And rather than just letting it go and just letting the project keep compiling more and more hours. You want to sit down and actually plan to figure out how long it's going to take. That's the way things in business get done. And I know that this is an art and it's enjoyment. If you just want to spend the next year working on a squad of guys, and that's what really brings you stress relief and happiness, great, do that, absolutely. If you're trying to paint for some big painting contest, take as long as you need, as long as you get done with it before the contest. It makes total sense. But when you're talking about how I have so much unpainted plastic or unpainted metal or unpainted resin in my basement and I want to get it done and I want to get it on the table, you have to be mercenary about how you actually spend your time. So use this little piece of technology that you carry in your pocket all the time. Use it to actually schedule time, saying this night I know I have free. I'm going to set several alarms to remind me to actually start painting at 7:30, whatever time you get to paint. And then use the timer to remind yourself, I want to paint for 2 hours. I want to paint for 3 hours. I only want to paint for an hour and a half, and see where you end up so that you can get that project moving and then done, and then move on to the next one.